Good morning.
Good morning.
What a fantastic morning it is for Black-Eyed Susan Day.
It is, and happy to be back alongside you, Ron, as we'll be going through that 14 race card today. It is absolutely gorgeous weather. We are really fortunate as far as that is concerned, and really excited for the day to come.
Yeah, we got some fantastic races throughout the day. Big Field's going to be a fantastic day for making some money.
Yes, it is. Ron Nicoletti, we're happy to have you with us. How does it feel to be in Maryland? Did you get any crab cakes yet?
I didn't get any crab cakes yet, but I've just been enjoying the weather. I got up about 5 o'clock and did some TV hits out here in the morning. It was just so beautiful. I got to watch the sun come up, and usually the sun never goes down in Florida, so it was good to see it actually come up.
There we go. Sun coming up on a beautiful day, and as Ron said, we're going to help you try and make some money today, too. We have some first bet promos to let you know about, as you can take part in that first bet sweepstakes. You can win a $20,000 bet on the Preakness 146. Play online on Express Bet or First Bet. Earn entries for every bet you make and bonus entries on all First tracks. Check out first.com/bet/promotions. And we also have some exciting things coming up, Ron, and that includes tomorrow, Preakness Stakes. You can watch it live on NBC as well.
Yeah, about 5 p.m. that'll start, and that is the Preakness Stakes, and they're our next-door neighbors here, so it's going to be just, if it's anything like today, it's going to be spectacular.
Today is the day of the Black-Eyed Susan, where the 3-year-old fillies take center stage on Friday. Looking forward to that as we have a nice field assembled, and what a competitive card to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Today is just one of those handicapping days that take you an awful lot of time if you want to get some winners in here, and that's the beauty of it. So, we got a favorite on the board right now, but I'm sure that's going to change as the money starts coming in.
Fast and firm. What more could you possibly ask for? Beautiful weather. It's going to warm up to be about 70, low 70s this afternoon, and it is just a gorgeous day for thoroughbred racing as we'll get ready to dive into the card.
Yeah, let's go right to the first race. It's a mile and an eighth on the turf. These are claimers 3 and up, 12.5 down to $10,000. And we got the early pick 5 here going on, of course, and we got lots of wagers, and you see the super high 5 has already over $2,000 in that pool. You started off, you have the favorite on there, Projected.
I did end up going with Projected. I like this horse. He's just an old class horse. You know, he is a short price on the board right now at 7-5, but I think that he makes sense. He had a win last time out, and it's been tough. You and I have seen this horse run many times down in Florida. When you have horses that are a little bit older like this, getting a race to kind of get their confidence back up, get them back into the winner's circle, and that's what happened with him down at Gulfstream last time. The second place finisher came back to win next time out. He has been a little bit further back in some of his recent races, but he does have the ability to be a bit more forwardly placed, and I just think that he is a snug fit in this spot.
Yeah, Carlos David, pretty solid, winning consecutive races, but I got a horse I really like in the first race, and I'll tell you why, and that is the 2 Golden Spears, making its first start since finishing 6th. Turned out to be a key race at Gulfstream Park West that produced next out winners Keep Quiet, who you're going to see through the past performances near Donji, and a horse called Philo, who came back on Sunday and won and paid $29. So the old key race angle.
Was that your long shot?
That was my long shot.
That's why you know that
That's
one.
why I like it. So if I can just see these horses come out of the race. So Golden Spear, I got some interest at 9-1 on the board. Of course, Projected is the one to beat. And then you have some interest in the number 9 horse in here, Ozone. I can see you using that horse.
Yeah, I had some interest in this one as far as some pedigree by Uncle Mo. Had a win last time out and is switching to the turf. Also thought that the number 10, Mokeef, coming in off of a layoff, should be another one that will appreciate getting back to the grass.
Well, let's go to race number 2, a mile in the 16th allowance optional claimer for 3-year-olds, or the optional claiming tag of $62,500. Did have some scratches in there of the 1 and the number 4 horse in here, Romp. I think probably be running tomorrow in the Sir Barton. They scratched him out of there. So Dr. Jack, half the Santa Anita handicap winner, Idol, looks pretty tough in here.
Yeah, I'd say with being half to Idol, the distance should be no problem, given how well that horse ran to win at the Santa Anita handicap. We do have a stat, too, on trainer Todd Pletcher to show you. This is over the past 5 years with maiden winners last time out going from sprint to route. And I know that Todd just has really strong numbers with a lot of things, but we always talk about this stretch out in distance, 36% win and 56% of the time in the money. I think with the scratch of Romp, this horse will probably take a lot more attention, but he's got a big pedigree. He won first time out sprinting, which maybe based on pedigree is not exactly what he wants to do, and Todd is just so good in getting that stamina on these horses to stretch out.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of, as you saw with the statistic there, just how good he is with it. We both have the number 8 in second. That's Royal Number, who drops into the optional claiming ranks after facing stakes runners in 3 consecutive races, including that third. That was in that 9 furlong Federico Tessio. Mike Trombetta is the trainer.
And I think coming out of the Tessio and the private terms, obviously a little bit of class relief here. The Withers prior to that running behind Risk Taking, who we'll see in the Preakness. So obviously some class relief given what he's going to be facing this afternoon. And I also think that, to be honest, the mile in an eighth, I think, is just pushing it a little bit for him. The turn back to the mile in a 16th, plus the class relief should suit.
Yeah, look like he'll run well. Let's go to race number 3 this afternoon. This one is a 5 furlong turf sprint. These are maiden claiming fillies and mares 3, 4, and 5 years old, 40 down to $30,000. Interested to see how you went in here. You went with the number 9 horse in here, Sizzling Hot.
This is a tough race. This is a tough race. There's not a lot of turf for him to go off of, so a bit of a pedigree play. This is a filly by Cantharos, who, as we know, can run on anything. I love them going on the turf. And then we do also have this one who has a race under her belt already. So the fact that she has some experience and now trying the turf for the first time, Louise Saya is going to be aboard. She is half to grade 3 winner Purely Hot, who did win a couple of times on the turf.
Well, you see Cantharos, so you know they can run on any kind of surface. And yeah, I saw a horse in here, and that's the 8 Miranda's Desmond, who's the daughter of Mosler, who is by Warfront. So I see that, you know I'm going there.
And this, you love your Warfront.
Yeah, I had a winner yesterday with that. Debuts for Ben Perkins Jr. with a really his solid debut maiden claimers. He's 2 for 5. It's a small sampling, but he's 40%. She gets Lasix. Florent Geroux will be in the saddle today. I've been dying to say that.
Well, I had a little bit of interest in the number 7 Response Time, who's also by Mosler, who's by Warfront. This one, I just watched the 2-year-old Sales Breeze when she sold at the Basic Tips and Timonium sale last year. And to me, she just kind of moved like a turf horse. So I thought that she could be one who might improve second time out.
Yeah, had a little trouble in its last race, was actually steadied in there. Let's flip the page and go to race number 4, mile in the 16th. It's an allowance for 3-year-olds and up. And a nice race in here. You went with the number 9 horse. We're not in too much of an agreement this afternoon with the number 9.
That's race number 3.
Oh, they didn't flip it up there. I was going to. Okay.
There it is.
I was gonna. Now we're in agreement. Good. I'm glad they flipped the page and we both got Prodigious Bay on top of our ticket.
That's right, Prodigious Bay, who I think makes a lot of sense in here for Ron Moquette. Last time out, watching that race at Oaklawn, went right to the lead and had some company early, and then kind of let others go in that spot. I thought actually held really gamely behind Truculent last time. Ben and Joe has some speed, and Dinosaur Ben has some speed stretching out. I thought with Joel Rosario, this horse could really sit a perfect trip.
We got the same exact superfecta in here.
Never bet anybody else.
Yeah, bet anybody else in the race. A Dinosaur Ben, as you mentioned, previous winner at the distance, which I like, stretches out after winning 2 in a row against those 32 optional claimers, going 7 furlongs at Laurel. He's the son of Blame. He's the one to catch at 8.5 furlongs for sure.
Yeah, he's going to be the one to stretch out. He did win that mile in a 16th race at Charlestown, which I think that's about 3 turns, I think, there for a mile in
at least.
At least 3 turns there at Charlestown. But he did run well, lugged out a bit in that mile in a 16th race at Laurel, but he did show that he could handle the distance at Laurel as well, which I like to back it up.
Yeah, and one other horse that we both using to try ratify is another going for 3 in a row after following that maiden win, going the mile at Laurel with a 30 optional claimer at the distance. Brittany Russell, Sheldon in the saddle today, looks like a logical contender.
Obviously in very good form right now and should have no problem with the distance.
Let's go to race number 5 this afternoon, and this one is a 5 furlong turf allowance, 3-year-olds and up. And we did have a couple of scratches in here of the 3, 13, and number 16. Of course, get all the scratches a little later on. So we'll just go with the, Beantown Baby looks awful tough in this spot.
She does. Arno Delacour seems to hold a very strong hand in this race. I know that she hasn't run since last July, so it's been about 10 months since we've seen her on the racetrack, but she was in very good form before that. And he has very good numbers off the layoff, too. After 180-plus days on the turf with winners last time out. It's a small sample size, but 3 for 16 winning and 7 for 16 in the money with a big ROI. And just in general, off the bench, plus this horse just seems to have the overall best form in the race.
And you look down and you say, well, who's riding today? And you see Joel Rosario. That's enough for me to give 1, 2, and 3 extra looks. I've got a little different here in second. You have the 4 in second, Madam McLean. I went with Pretty Laurie, who's the daughter of McLean's Music, shifts to the turf. I think the breeding needed to handle the 5 furlongs on the grass for Hamilton Smith. He's really solid with the turf to dirt, dirt to turf move. He's about 20%. And Madam McLean, too, is a logical contender.
Yeah, this is another one also by McLean's Music. And we've seen them be really successful on the dirt. I mean, I love McLean's Music progeny sprinting on turf, which is what these two fillies are going to be doing. I don't think Madam McLean, wanted anything to do with the dirt in her last couple or distance turf try. I think that she is going to be very happy to be back sprinting, but she does have a layoff to contend with as well.
And just shows you what kind of day we're dealing with, where you could have a number 15 horse in third.
Well, the 15, the 15 draws in for Wesley Ward, American Goddess, who finally broke her maiden last time out at Keeneland, but she is for Wesley Ward. She'll have to work out a trip from that outside post, but she's quick.
Let's go to race number 6. 6 furlongs allowance optional claim at 3 and up, or the optional tag of $35 down to $28,000. Race number 6. Got an old buddy of ours in here, and that's the number 2 Belle Tapissiere.
Yes, this horse for Brittany Russell, first off the claim, and we'll show you a stat, as this horse that we knew back in the day when Jaime Mejia had him at the start, and this is first off the claim on the dirt for this barn. Again, a limited sample size, but 3 for 5 winning for 60%, 4 for 5 in the money, and a giant ROI of 535. And that sample size does include Yodeliehu, who we're going to see later on today. So obviously, Brittany's done really well with claiming a limited number of horses, and this one has been in very good form.
Yeah, just after posting 4 straight wins against those 25 optional claim, his 4th straight, 6-time winner at the distance, so lots to like there. I went with the, number 3 horse in Where Paradise Lay. You have on top of your ticket. Oh, I didn't know. I thought you had Belle Tapissiere up there.
I almost did, and I love that horse.
Right.
He's so consistent. But I did end up going with Where Paradise Lay because I think that he has been facing some really tough horses. Ran behind Our Nation on Parade 2 starts back, who's a stakes quality runner, and faced Fat Man last time, who then went on to run 5th in a grade 1 after that. So obviously was just facing really tough. He had a bad break last time too, just kind of sat in the gate, and I thought it was pretty key that Irad Ortiz picks up the mount today as well for Bill Downing.
Yeah, Irad will be in the saddle today, and it's getting that class relief certainly going to help. The number 7, wonder where Craig is. I don't know where Craig is, but I like the horse this
afternoon. Let's see if we can find out today.
The horse is another from Brittany Russell, making his first start since finishing 4th. Comes behind a trio of next out winners, and that was in the grade 2 Amsterdam. Japan in that race won the Chick Lang. Basin won the Sir Shackleton at Gulfstream, and Premier Star won the Jersey Short Monmouth. So if you're looking for a monster key race, maybe that's where you go.
Yeah, those 3 are okay. That's for sure. So I think definitely some class relief. Does have to contend with a layoff in this spot, but Brittany seems to hold a strong hand in this race.
Yeah, let's go to race 7. We're going to go on the turf this afternoon. If you're just joining us, main track is fast. Turf course is firm. Beautiful day here in Maryland. The Milan is 16th on the turf.
South Florida?
No, I'm not saying that today. I got yelled at by everybody yesterday. Jokingly, I forgot where I was for just momentarily. Milan is 16th on the turf. Allowance optional claim of 3-year-olds and up. The optional tag 35 down to 28. Scratch the 3, 8, 9, and number 10. Who do you have there? The number 11 horse on top of Small Hope.
Small hope. Well, the biggest reason that I ended up picking this horse is that his last win, it did come going a mile and an eighth on the turf for 20, in that non-winners of 3. So he's running for the 35,000 today, but he's been at a comparable level in his last 2. He's just been going a mile and a half. And my notes on him down in Florida have always been that I questioned going that far. So I think today, coming back to what I think is a distance that's going to be better for him in a mile and a 16th, Javier Castellano in the saddle. He has some ability. Clearly, I like this turn back in distance.
Trained by Ken Sweezy, does a fantastic job up north and down south. So number 7, On a Spree, is where I went in here. He's dropping it in, I think, into a competitive spot after following that second against those 40 optional claimers. That was on the Fairgrounds turf. Then comes back and sort of has a slow starting clunker against allowance runners. That's on that good turf at Keeneland. Mike Maker, 5-time winner, spots him perfectly today.
And Mike Maker, once again, in this Pimlico meet, comes with a very strong hand with quite a few runners in his arsenal. I thought that the number 12 to the outside, Street Copper for Mike Trombetta, has been knocking on the door recently, and certainly one that you have to use underneath.
Yeah, those back-to-back second-place finishes. So we're going to take a short break. When we're going to come back, we're going to show you my Rainbow Six
That's
ticket.
right.
We'll be right back.
They're off in the ring now. They're nose to nose, all the way to the wire, and it is going to be a photo finish.
And welcome back. We're here at race number 8. It's going to be a mile and an eighth. Fillies and Mares 3 and up. $150,000 guaranteed. It's the Allaire DuPont Distaff Grade 3, but it also starts the Rainbow Six this afternoon. So I stepped it up. We got just about $12,000 in the pool. We'll show you my ticket. And I got $86.40 from me. Went 3 deep in here.
I was hoping to see 43.20.
No, I figured it's a big day. I'm
Yeah.
going to step it up today. Horologist, Lucky Stride, Mrs. Danvers. I couldn't separate those two. Race number 3, I really think that Caravel is going to run good in there, but I used a couple of other horses, Dixie in Candyland. And then in race number 10, I'm going with a Red Ghost in there and Aborigate on the inside, one of the horses I'm going to use. Race number 11, almost single Bubbles on Ice in that one for Christophe Clement. I thought that horse ran really good last time out, but I used Tracy Flick on the ticket too. And then I got some nice coverage in race number 12, which was the old head scratcher. Last Judgment's got the speed. I didn't want to get beat by that horse. And then I got 3 deep in race number 13. So $86.40 for me. Almost half of 43.20, I guess, right?
It is
I can't.
exactly half.
It is? Okay, good. See, so it's half. So there you go. Keisha does all the adding for us at this thing. So let's get into this 8th race. I mentioned Horologist certainly looks like a major player in here.
She does. We'll take a trip back up to New York, and we'll show the video of that Top Flight Invitational where Horologist, Mrs. Danvers, and Lucky Stride come out of. You can see at the break, the 4 Lucky Stride had a really bad break. She was taken out of it right at the beginning. See how far back she is early on. And the other 2 were more forwardly placed. Now, Horologist and Mrs. Danvers then put on such a nice show there in the stretch, dueling while the 4 Lucky Stride came from off of them. Look she's covered in dirt there at that point. She had a lot to overcome. I thought that the top 3 ran a huge race in here, and I'm really, really excited we get to see them rematch today.
Yeah, and then which is on my Rainbow Six ticket, I couldn't separate them. I just thought they all ran well. Bill Mott, of course, trains the number 5 horse in here. Junior Alvarado, good to see him back in the saddle again. Lucky Stride, as you mentioned, with that slow start. So I just thought these were the logical ones, and I can understand putting the 8 on top after that break.
I do. I mean, I've actually really liked her for a while. You know, at the beginning, she started her career in the U.S. after running in Puerto Rico, coming over here in the Grade 3 Chuvy behind Latruska, who's now a Grade 1 winner. So she's kept some good form. She really had a tough time of it last time out. All the respect in the world for Horologist. I thought Mrs. Danvers ran very well, too. And I thought the 4, Get Rid of What Ails You, could be an interesting player in here. Speaking of Latruska, she does come out of that Apple Blossom, 4th in that Grade 1, and 2 starts back 3rd behind She Dares the Devil in the Azeri.
Let's go to race number 9 this afternoon. This is 5 furlongs on the turf, Fillies and Mares, 3-year-olds and up, $100,000 guaranteed. Do I have to say this, the very one?
I was going to ask you, are we doing the very one?
I don't like to do that, but I wrote it down, so I'll read it the way I see it.
I love it. Well, this race does kick off the late pick 5. No carryovers to speak of today, but it is always a really fun wager, just a 50-cent minimum, so you have a chance to potentially make some money. And I stepped it up a little bit today, too, as far as my standards. I've got a $48 ticket in here. I ended up going 3 deep in this first race to kick things off in the very one, as I think that this is a nice race with some competitive runners. I spread in the Miss Preakness. I thought that was a very tricky race We do see the rematch of Abrogate and to the outside. What was the other one that was rematching? Their Joyful Cadence,
yeah.
excuse me. I think Bubbles on Ice is going to be very tough in the Hilltop. I included Mia Martina, though, too, who goes back to the turf, which I think is her preferred surface. In the Pimlico Special in race 12, I've got Modernist and Fearless. And then the Black-Eyed Susan, I use Army Wife and Iced Latte.
Yeah, Army Wife is the one I would have used. I just had to leave that one off. We'll show a race of that horse a little later on, the last race from that horse. Let's get back to the very one. And this one, I went, who did you go with here? You went with the number?
I went with the 9.
Then
Yeah.
went with the number 9, Catch a Bid, who's cutting back to the 5 furlong distance after rallying up the rail, as you mentioned, to finish second.
And she will rematch today with Dixie and Candyland. We'll show you that race from Keeneland in that allowance last time out. Now, these two I thought ran both very well. Catch a Bid was last, while Dixie and Candyland kind of got the easier trip. Catch a Bid came up the rail, while Dixie and Candyland closed to the outside. You can see there, down on the inside in the blue cap, Catch a Bid along the rail. That can be a really intimidating spot for horses sometimes, whereas Dixie and Candyland had that forward momentum closing on the outside. So that's why I thought that she may be able to turn the tables today, and I put Catch a Bid on top.
Yeah, Catch a Bid, a logical contender. I just kept going back to the horse you have in second. I think it's Caravel.
Yes.
Who's undefeated at the distance, turns back, pressed the pace, finished third. I just thought that race was going to set her up perfectly today. It's 6 furlongs. It was the $100,000 license fee at Belmont. Liz Merriman is the trainer. Florent Giroux atop. Lightly raced 4-year-old, but when you handicap in races like this, I just kept going back to this horse, going back to this horse. I was surprised with 7-2. I thought I was going to get a little bit of a price there.
I think she might be a little bit of the buzz horse in this spot. You know, she ran very well last time off of a layoff, running against some really talented turf sprinters in New York, like She's My Type and Robin Sparkle. So I think that she is one that could be a big player in here as well. And then you do have the 2 fillies, as we mentioned, rematching from that race at Keeneland.
Exactly. And one other horse I just wanted to touch on. I love the name, Gotta Go Mo. Trying to make it 4 in a row for John Kimmel. So if
Yeah.
you're looking for a horse that's in good form, scored at Gulfstream and went up and beat the New York State bred runners. So good form. And John Kimmel, his barn has been going really good lately.
has been.
Yeah. Let's go to race number 10, the Miss Preakness, as you mentioned. 6 furlongs, fillies, 3-year-olds, $150,000, a grade 3 event. And we do have a scratch in here of the number 7 horse. And you did go with the number 2 horse on top of your ticket. No,
You
I
did.
went with the 2. You went with the 1, Abrogate.
Abrogate, I did. She comes out of the 8 bells. Obviously, this is a competitive field in the Miss Preakness, but she was actually Abrogate in the 8 bells from an outside post, was sent hard early on. I think her hand was forced from that post position. She ended up fourth kind of in the two path, and she kind of made a middle move and idled a bit, whereas Obligatory was flying from last with that late momentum. So I think Abrogate kind of made a little bit of an earlier move. I also think that 7 furlongs is pushing it a bit for her. I think the slight turn back to the 6 will suit her well.
Well, I saw when you put in your selections that you had a spotlight on the number 5 Street Luton here, a horse I didn't use.
Well, she is the local favorite as we take a look at her win. This is 2 starts back in her win in the wide country. They tried stretching her out to a mile last time. She was beaten by Little Stitious, who's very talented, but she's one that's been ultra consistent. I mean, she was just winning up a storm before being defeated last time out in the Beyond the Wire. So this is her victory. When sprinting, I think the cutback will suit her. She did drift out a bit, which she was corrected by Xavier Perez, but I know that the locals love her. She's a fan favorite and certainly have to root for the Maryland bred in the spot.
Yeah, I think she's the Maryland champion.
She's a 2-year-old champion. Yeah.
Maryland 2-year-old champion. I did go with the horse you had in third, Red Ghost, is a half-sister to Breeders' Cup winner. It's Spun to Run. We'll be going for 2 in a row at the distance. Drew clear to defeat those allowance runners, going 6 for Wesley Ward. John Velasquez atop this daughter of Ghost Zapper. Great connections. I just think this horse is going to run well in this spot.
I think she's definitely more of a dirt horse than a turf horse. I agree. Second off the layoff, that was a good building block race to move forward off of.
And, number 9, Joyful Cadence, who we both have, second to Abrogate in the Purple Martin Stakes. It's not Mountain, it's Martin Stakes.
That's right.
Listed stakes up at Oakland. I had to go back and look twice. I said, I probably spelled this wrong. Thinking it's got to be Purple.
Mountain.
Yeah, Purple Mountain Majesty. I would think it would be something like
That's
that.
right.
Right? So,
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not. It's Purple
not.
Martin. I don't know who Martin is, but he must like purple. So that is race number. Anything else you want to? Let's just go to the next race. And this is race 11. It's 1 mile on the turf. Fillies, 3-year-olds, $100,000. It is one of my favorite races here, and that is the Hilltop. Boy, I think Bubbles on ice looks pretty sharp in here.
She does. I mean, we'll take a look at her last race at Aqueduct as we have that video in the memories of Silver. And she is a late closing type. I mean, look at Javier Castellano asked her, and she just accelerated. I mean, she's a typical kind of European look in that she's very small. I don't think he realized quite how much of a turn of foot she had, and that she kind of, I think, hit the front a little bit earlier than he anticipated. And she was able to hold off Fluffy Socks, who's a very talented, graded stakes winner for Chad Brown.
Yeah, I was just so enamored with this horse turning back to the mile. Really impressive North
Mm-hmm.
American debut for Christoph. I had some interest in the horse you had in 30s. The other horse I used on my Rainbow Six ticket, Tracy Flick. It was still a maiden because she's been disqualified in consecutive races. Makes a stakes debut for Shug. That was enough for me. And it's a Wrigley bred daughter of.
Warfront.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping me out there.
You're welcome. She is technically still a maiden, even though she crossed the wire first in her debut and then was beaten a nose last time. She's been disqualified from both of those efforts. I think that I liked her first time out. I thought she was very talented. Let's see if she can keep a straight course today with Joelle Rosario. I also included the 6 Mia Martina. She won in her first start for Graham Ocean down at Gulfstream in January. They tried her in the Grade 3 Florida Oaks behind some talented fillies, and she didn't get off well. You cross out the dirt try in the Gazelle. I think she's back on her preferred surface.
A little bit of a hunt play between us two. Arm Candy, the number 10. Isn't that what I used to call me? I used to call
Yes, that's what I used to call you.
you? Right. Oh, forget that. It's another joke for another time. Let's go to race number 12 here today. 1 mile at 3/16, 3 and up. It's the Pimlico Special Grade 3, $250,000. Race 12. We got one scratch in here of the number 10 horse in here. And boy, Fearless. Boy, what a nice horse stretching out to the mile in the 3/16 today.
Yeah, he really has been. He ran in the Oaklawn handicap last time, as we'll watch that replay. That was going a mile and an eighth in his second race off the layoff. They were 6 across the track at one point in this race, and I thought that Irad Ortiz did everything he possibly could. He saved all the ground. He had a hole open up on the rail. He was closing. He's a very big horse to go up the rail like that and to close as gamely as he did. Well, the winner, Silver State, once again came from the outside to close and get the win, who's been in very good form for Steve Asmussen. Look at how tight this photo finishes, and I thought given the trip that Fearless had, he ran very well. We saw him win really impressively off the bench in the Gulfstream Mile.
Boy, he's certainly rejuvenated.
Yeah.
They gave him some time off, and he's just been something. He's a 5-year-old gelded son of Go Sapper, and if you read what Todd was saying about this horse, just was like dropping back, didn't want to
Yeah.
run, gave him some rest, and it worked out. But boy, Martinez is trying to make it 2 in a row after edging away to win the 9 furlong Grade 3 Excelsior up at Aqueduct. Bill Mott, Junior Alvarado going for 2 in a row. Bill was saying that he thinks this distance will be perfect for this horse.
And I very much agree. He looks physically like the type of horse that wants to go this distance. And I've seen him in several of his recent starts. And I have to say, last time out in the Excelsior was the best I've ever seen this horse look. He was just carrying great weight. Looked like he wanted to go a distance of ground, and Junior rode him perfectly. And Junior also told me after the race, too, that he thought that the horse had mentally taken a step forward as well. So that's a good sign coming into it today.
Well, we were mentioning earlier, we both have this horse in fourth, but I wouldn't get beat by this horse, and that's Last Judgment. Break from the outside with that always dangerous commodity speed. He defeated Modernist in the Grade 3 Challenger at Tampa using that speed, so maybe a horse like him. And the 4 that you have in Enforceable is a half-brother to Holy Bull and Fountain of Youth winner, Mo Heyman.
That's right. You have some big pedigrees in here. You also have last year's Pimlico Special Champion and Harper's First Ride, who's making his third start for Robertino Diodoro. He's the defending champ. Makes for a very interesting race.
Race number 13 today, the feature race of the afternoon, 1 mile and 1 1 mile and 1/8 3-year-old fillies. Of course, it is the Black Eyed Susan Grade 2 event. And boy, what are you doing here? You went with the number 1 horse. Oh, that's right, Army Wife.
did.
Yeah, that's great.
I did. I'm hoping to get a bit of a price. So she was actually my pick last time out in the Gazelle at 14-1. I don't think that she would have beaten Search Results, who we all know ran so well in the Kentucky Oaks behind Malathot. But she and the Grass is Blue both come out of the Gazelles. We have that replay for you. This was back on April 4th. And as we're watching it, Army Wife was the one with the trip. The Grass is Blue, to me, she just ran a bit flat. But at this point, again, nobody was beating Search Results, who's on the lead, but maybe being able to go between horses in the yellow cap. Army Wife is squeezed right back, completely had her momentum stopped. She ended up re-rallying to close and finish third, which I thought was impressive, overtaking the Grass is Blue, who's there, the number 5 that day. Given everything that she had to do physically, to me, she looks like a colt. She looks like she wants to go. The longer, the better, and the mile and an eighth is perfect for her.
Yeah, she got beat by Search Results. Chad Brown's other horse in here besides the Grass is Blue. But beautiful gift here. I put this one on top. I want to play devil's advocate a little bit with this horse who's stretching out to the 9 furlongs. Really a couple of really sharp outings in the mile and the 16th in which she won the Grade 3 Isabel, however you would say that, and second, a half length. But there was only 4 horses in each one of those races. Got to deal with the outside post. Got to deal with the mile and an 8 distance. Maybe this is a horse that can get beat this afternoon.
I had my questions about her too. As you mentioned, her last 3 starts out in California were all in 4-horse fields. She got some really strong figures for her last couple of races, is a graded stakes winner, and she does have the outside post. I imagine John Velasquez will ride her aggressively. However, seeing her in the mornings here, well, she has kind of a longer body to her. Her legs are not as long. She didn't immediately strike me as a 9 furlong type of appearance. If she's aggressively handled and nobody else goes, maybe that'll just be the key. As far as the Grass is Blue, one thing that she has, you have to comment on, she's the only one in the field with a win at the distance.
Yeah, which is very important. I use that as an angle of mine. And I know that you had to have some interest in number 6, Ice Latte, who's a $250,000 daughter, a pioneer of the Nile, making her stakes debut for Todd, so you got to give it a second look. Impressive score going a mile at Gulfstream Park. I remember that race. Set the pace second in that optional claimer last time out.
And I think iced latte is my spirit animal. I mean, I love a good iced latte. Soy latte, though. But iced latte, to be fair, I don't think that she really beat anybody in that maiden win going a mile, but she faced a really salty crew when sprinting. She doesn't want anything to do with sprinting. And it is important to remember that that mile and a 16th at Belmont is 1 turn. So she'll get to go 2 turns for the first time, which I think she wants. She was dueling with a Chad Brown filly in that race, and that prompted Midnight Obsession to close and run both of them down, but I thought that she ran a very, very game race.
Well, let's go to the final race on the card. It's a mile on the turf maiden claiming fillies and mares 3, 4, and 5 years old. I went to the inside horse in here, Perryville, who's going back to the turf, ended her 2020 campaign with a 3rd place finish against Similar, going 9 furlongs. That race was moved to the main track for Lacey Gordette. This is the one that I think is going to, where you have to go deep. If you have some singles in those earlier races, in those lateral races, this is where you go deep.
This is a very tough race for sure. I agree about Pearlyville. I think that she makes sense in this spot. I have my long shot of the day, and that's the 2 Joni Sunset, who's by Imagining, who's by Giants Causeway. On the bottom side, the dam was a 3-time turf winner, and both siblings won on the grass. She's been training at Fair Hill for Tim Woolley, and I think that she'll be a bit of a price here in the nightcap.
Well, we're not done yet. Of course, we have the ever popular lightning round that's going to start right now.
All right, and to kick off the lightning round, it is Black Eyed Susan Day. The fillies take center stage this afternoon. A field of 10. Beautiful gift at 9 to 5 on the morning line.
Yeah, great race. We're going to see how that runs. We talked about beautiful gift. Maybe a little vulnerable in that spot.
And as we take a look at her training in the morning, beautiful gift. She has been kind of getting her feet wet over this course at Pimlico. There she goes with assistant trainer Jimmy Barnes on the pony, heading out, getting her acclimated to the race racetrack here. She looks to bring her strong California form to Maryland, and that's the fun thing about Preakness weekend and Black Eyed Susan Day is that you have horses coming from all over the place.
Yeah, so we'll see how Beautiful Gift runs this afternoon. I mentioned coming out of those couple of short fields. What about tomorrow? It seems like it's a big day.
Yes, it is. Tomorrow is the 146th running of the Preakness Stakes. We have a field of 10. We are one day out. Medina Spirit is 9 to 5 on the morning line.
Yeah, Medina Spirit, of course, won the Kentucky Derby, trying to get the second jewel of the Triple Crown. I'm going to give out my pick now, and it's Midnight Bourbon.
I like it. That's mine too.
Oh, really?
He's got a little bit of extra weight to handle.
That's
but
for sure.
Trainer Chad Brown knows how to win the Preakness Stakes. He won the Preakness back in 2017, and he has 2 chances coming here to Pimlico in both risk-taking and crowded trade. As we take a look at both of them on track and training, that's one of the best things about being here during Preakness week is getting a chance to watch these horses on track in the morning. Here's risk-taking in the Preakness, and Chad, a last-minute entry for this one, scratching out of the Peter Pan to come and run in the Preakness instead.
Yeah, you sort of got to respect anything that Chad does, so you give this horse a second look.
Here's Crowded Trade. He has taken the exact same path that Chad's Preakness winner Cloud Computing did, and that's winning first time out and then knocking heads and coming out of the Wood Memorial now. Can he do what Cloud Computing did?
We'll see if he can do that this afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon. And just anytime you see Chad Brown and he's got a 2-pronged attack, you have to give it a second look. We're going to be here today, and I might be doing some betting for tomorrow.
I hope that you will be. Advanced wagering is available today for tomorrow's card. Make sure you take advantage of that. And you don't want to get shut out. You're having your Black Eyed Susans. You're having all of the fun tomorrow, and you don't want to miss out and forget to bet.
Where do I get these Black Eyed Susans?
I don't know. I haven't found any yet. But today we also have some exciting wagering action for you, and that's the Stronach 5. We have 2 races from Pimlico as part of the sequence. That is the Pimlico Special and the Black Eyed Susan. So you have some great races in the sequence, of course, including all of our tracks and that low 12% takeout.
Yeah, low 12% takeout, as Pete Aiello calls it, Overlay
That's
City.
right. Yes, it is indeed. As we send it up now to track announcer Dave Rodman for scratches and changes. Good luck, everyone, on Black Eyed Susan Day.